Everyone, welcome back to Car Fix. Today we're going to be trying to build a much larger filter for my inflatable hot tub. The inbuilt filter just isn't strong enough to get particles out of the water, large particles. If it's small suspended in the water particles, over time it will suck them in, but if things settle to the bottom it doesn't pick them up. So over here I've got this old bucket that has a lid on. I've got a couple of bulkheads, some 1-inch pipe and a 3-inch or 2.5-inch piece of PVC, and the concept is going to be bulkhead in the bottom, pipe onto the bulkhead, a pump which I'll show you slightly later, which I already have in the hot tub, pumps into here up through filter floss media, and it will come back out the top into the pool fully filtered. And the reason I'm doing this is the filter or the pump that I'm going to use is a lot stronger than the one in the tub, so it should circulate a lot more water and pick out a lot more of the particles that get left in there after you've been walking around your garden and going in and out the hot tub. So let's get to the build. So first of all, here's a 1-inch bulkhead. It just unscrews. 2 seals, one for the inside, one for the outside. This is going to go on the bottom, so we're going to need a hole saw to drill the hole that's nice and tight and snug for that. So probably just under 1-inch hole saw to drill through the bottom as you can of your tub, so it's got more room for filter media in it. So I've got a selection of hole saw bits here, and we'll just choose one that's going to fit. So this one is just slightly bigger, but obviously you've got the O-ring to seal it, so it's not bigger than the O-ring, so it should be fine. So next thing is just drill a hole in your bucket. So you're going to go and drill the hole in the bottom of the bucket. This is quite a decent sturdy bucket, so it should be able to take it pretty nicely. Easy as that. It's a pretty nice hole actually, there's not even really any swarf on it. And then you can just attach your bulkhead to it. So out the pipe end out, so the pipe can go on it. So one O-ring on the front, one on the inside, and just screw it together. And there the bulkhead is fitted, and now we just need to drill the top. I'm going to put one of these bulkheads in the top first and see if I can run a piece of pipe out. If the flow fills up quicker than it empties, obviously it will overflow. If that's the case, I'll put a bigger piece of PVC in the top so more water can escape faster than it can enter, then it will never overflow. So now I'll drill the hole in the top for the top bulkhead. We'll test it, and if the flow's too high we'll drill a bigger hole to put the PVC pipe in. So let's get to that. So let's get drilling. Easy as that. Got my razor blade out now just to deburr it. And if anybody wants to know where I got this bucket from, it's actually a bin from IKEA with the lid. It cost probably about a £5, maybe £10. I got it ages ago, I can't remember what the actual cost was now. Connection. So that's the 2 bulkheads in. Let's go give it a clean and I'll come back to you after I've cleaned it up. So that's that cleaned up enough to test it. Now we'll just put the pipe on. So I'm going to shove it on all the way. I'll put the clamps on yet while I'm testing, but I'll put it into situ now, and we'll see it working on the tub. And I'll show you the pump as well. Now it's in situ, I've just got it on this stool just to raise it up while I test. It's this pump here, I've had it for a long time. It's a 1400 litres an hour pump. I think it's an All Pond Solutions one off Amazon. It's nothing special, it's just a decent, reliable, small pond aquarium pump that I'm going to put in here. So we're going to put the pipe into the bottom because that's where we want the water to go. It's going to rise up and out the top. So we're going to put the pipe onto the pump as well. Looks like I might need an adapter. Switch them round, that's the bigger end, so I'll just do that and come back. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to have to slightly adapt this with a piece of pipe there. I think that's 3/4 inch to this pump into my inch, and I'm going to have to get a proper connection to put the pipes together, but we're just going to test this for now. So into the hot tub it goes. So I ended up cutting that piece of pipe in half, so you can see one in the bottom, one in the top. I'll just move back slightly so you can see it. I bought 3 meters worth of pipe, so I had plenty to go in and out. And I'm just going to put the plug into the pump and see if it fills and see if it overflows. So we can hear it now filling. I don't know if you can see it because it's super sunny here, but there is water going in there. And I'll get back to you when it's full. Right everyone, we are back and the bulkheads are in after a mistake I made yesterday, so I've had to leave it overnight. I actually did drill the holes too big for the actual seals on the bulkhead, so I've had to silicone round them, as you can see. But now it is all in there working fine. I've also decided to put the pump in at the top and the drain out the bottom. I've tried it both ways. If I put the pump in at the bottom, it fills up and it does drain, but because this is high and it's not like it's fairly straight into the actual tub, not allowing gravity to pull the water down, the air gets in it and then it stops like pulling as much water out and it doesn't fully drain. But this way, obviously gravity is pushing down on the water and it's pushing the water out at a good rate, as you can see there, and it doesn't stop. So that is how we're going to leave it. And now we just need to fill this up with media. You can use sponge, or I will probably use a couple of old cushions, the stuffings outside of it. That is a very good way to get like pond and aquarium filter floss for very cheap. Just use the inside of cushions or cheap cushions. Just make sure they've got no additives in the floss that's inside. Not that it matters so much for a hot tub, but you don't want it for an aquarium. But that's how you can get a lot of cheap filter floss. If you buy actual aquarium filter floss, it costs a fortune. And obviously filter floss is great for taking out all the tiny particles, the tiny bits of like chlorine tablet and everything that are in there, and the particles, you see, they'll all get taken out by the floss, which is why that's what I'm going to be using and not a bigger media. So that was a lot of rant about media and flow, but that's the main reason why we're doing this. You want a good flow in, a good flow out, and loads of media in there to catch all the dirt. And that's what I'm going to do, fill it up, and then I'll show you it full of media. So as you can see there, I've got the finished filter in place. I've given it a lick of green paint and put it up next to the bush so you can't really see it against the tub, and it's hidden. But what I'm going to do now is open it up for you and show you what I've got going on inside, the setup I've got with the media. I'll run you through it. So if we just open the lid, what I've got here is a pond plant basket that I've cut down to size so it fits in to the tub, and just under there I've got a couple of bricks to hold it up off the bottom. So that just goes in there like that. And then this is the media that I've got. So like I said, I've got the filter media inside of a cushion, you know, fine, so it catches all the fines. And then I've got this tea towel here, old tea towel, and this has actually been running for a couple of days now since I made the last part of the video. And you can see the difference in colour in the particles that it's collected over the last day or two. This is what colour it used to be, bright white, and you can see the dirt that's embedded into this now. I'll probably get rid of this because it's too fine. It stops the water flowing perfectly and get some more of this, but I haven't got any more of this for the time being. So I'll put it back in there and then I'll show you what it looks like with the filter stuff in, because I've got a spray bar as well to distribute the flow a bit better than that. So yeah, there's a spray bar. It's just a piece of PVC pipe that fits into the pipe and goes across the other, and it's held in by a piece of foam so all the water's not shooting out the end. And it just distributes the water over more of the foam. And I use this to lay that over here. So it gets an initial filtering through this top foam, top filter, and then it all drops into the, make sure it drops into the bucket underneath and not down all the sides. So it has to go through the filter pad and the towel to clean itself. And it also makes it a lot quieter if you put this on. So if you listen and then put this over the top, it's much dampens the sound a lot having that floss over the top. Like so. And then if you close the lid, trees in the lake, you can barely hear it, and there it is, all finished, done, hidden away in the corner. You can barely see it, and if you click this out, you can see the flow coming out the bottom there. And yeah, everything is good and fully working. So quick filter. All I've spent on this is I think 7 or 8 quid on pipe and 10 quid on 2 bulkheads and everything else I had. But the bin, you can use any sort of bin, so say £5 or £10 for the bin, and then you'll need a pump, so say £10 to £20 for a pump. But if you're £50 into this, it'll be a way better filter than going and spending 30 or 35 on one of them small e-spar pumps that you get from the range or those type of places that use cartridges, because the cartridges do not filter as well as the filter floss will filter. So if you like this video, please like, favourite and subscribe. And you could also use this on a small pond, a nature pond, a paddling pool, a small swimming pool, or your hot tub. So yep, if you've done anything like this, let me know in the comments what you did differently or what you would do to improve it, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.